How many sales did you lose last month when you heard the objection? I need to think about it, right? Probably a lot. Now, the old way of handling this objection is not working anymore because everybody use it. A lot of people go to the old way and saying like,
Okay, let's schedule a call. Don't worry at all.
And then they have their guard down and then they're trying to figure out what objection. But that's the old way of selling because all the prospect already know that everybody do it. It's all over the internet. I'm going to show you the new way on how to handle this objection. Now, why you should listen to me? I have sold over $1 million and I trained dozens of coaches on how to sell better. And also I watched all the content, all the tactics, read all the book. And this is my own way to handle this objection. For me, it works the best. And that's what I help my coaches with. And it's also worked for them. So now, no matter what your situation are in sales, if you're a beginner, if you're the top 1%, or if you're in the middle, it's going to be very valuable for you. I promise for you, you're going to learn at least one thing. So let's start with the first thing we need to do here when you get the objection, right? So there's a couple options. I choose to agree with them. What we need to do is to get the guard down. So most coaches, what they do, some people, they go and attack them. They're like, well, what do you need to think about? Then the prospect have their guards up and they don't feel comfortable because they're basically, what they're saying here is like, I want to get out of the sales call. I don't want to buy. Leave me alone. But they don't really need to think about it, right? 99% of people don't come back after they say, I need to think about it. I want to agree. That's the first step. Agree with them and tell them no problem at all. I don't want you to take a step forward the program before you really thought about it and before you really considered that. Now they're going to have the guard down because they use that all the other salespeople, they go and argue with them or they go and tell them no problem, go and think about it. So we are going to be different. We are going to agree with them. That's the first step to do. After we agree with them and we got the guard down, what we want to do is to understand, is it the program or not? We want to understand what is the real objection. The first step to understand what is the real objection is to understand if they really believe that the program will get them the result they want, or is it something else? So you're going to ask them, do you really believe that the program going to give you the result you want? And then you understand if it's about the program or something else. Because some coaches don't even ask this question, which is the most important question. They might go over and try to solve an objection, like I need to talk to some spouse. I need to check if I have enough money. But maybe most of the time the prospect tell you that because they really don't believe, they are not certain that the program will get them the result they want. If they say, not sure, right? If they say no, what I want to do here is to ask them basically from 1 out of 10, how much do you believe it will get you the result? If it's number less than 7, right? If it's less than 7, you go over and you tell them, well, I will make it a 10. You see what is missing in the program and you basically fulfill. Maybe you give them a guarantee. Maybe you give them some other promise, whatever. So that's if they say no, you see how you can deal with it. Now, if they say yes, what we want to do is to tell them, great. So you think that the program going to give you, but you still want to think about it, no problem at all. Just for me to understand really better your situation, what exactly do you want to think about it? Is it about the price, your time? Is it about something else? And then they're going to give you the real objection, or they're going to have fear, right? If they give you the real objection, that's perfect. You're going to deal with them. But what no one talks about, and what I'm going to show you today, the main focus, what most prospects have is limiting belief, right? They have limiting belief in themselves that the program is going to get you the result they want. Limiting belief. And I'm going to show you how to deal with this limiting belief. So are you with me? Until now, this was very simple and easy. If you're new to it, you should write it down and go over it again. But the most important thing in the difficult part is what do you do if the prospect is scared to go to your program? If they have limiting belief that he can do it. If he uses the words if or but, it means that he have limiting belief that he's scared. I want to join to this program and get this result. If you promise me guarantee, it means that they don't really believe that they can do the work and actually get the result. They have limiting belief. If they say but, it's like, I want to make 50K a month, but I'm not sure it's realistic. So that's limiting belief. Our job as the salesperson is to keep them accountable And we do it by questioning their belief, right? Why they can't think that they can make 50K a month. That's our job as the salesperson. It's to keep them accountable to the version of themselves, a true person, to be a real person, to be a leader, the one who can actually make that money that they want to make. The way to keep them accountable is by asking these 3 key questions. Have you? How long? And where? First thing, have you? So you told me that you usually make uncomfortable decisions, like you don't want to join the program because it's too uncomfortable right now, right? You're too scared or you have too much fear, whatever the limiting belief is, whatever language they use. If, for example, he says, because it's uncomfortable for me or because I'm scared, so you ask him, have you always been the kind of person when it's too scared, when it's uncomfortable, you usually take your time and think about it, right? They tell you, right, you get the yes, they agree with you. How long have you been making that type of decision? Have you always been that way for the past 2 years when you had the same problem? They will tell you yes. People like to be consistent with the answer, with the way of thinking, with the way of making decisions. So basically, when you tell them that you make right now this type of decision, have you always done it? Yes, they're going to agree with you. So I got 2 yeses already. Okay. And now the prospects start to understand already that they have kind of like where you're going with that, and that's okay. So then you're going to ask them, where did it lead you to? You told me that you make this type of decision, like you have this same belief that you need to think before you make a decision. You need to do research. You don't make uncomfortable decision. All of this thing, all of this limiting belief that come to an end to taking the wrong action, that's where it led you to where you are today. And you had the same problem for 2 years and you haven't changed, right? When I can't get out of my 9 to 5 and I can't make more money and I'm stuck in the same situation, it led me to X. So now the prospects start to understand that they have a problem and they need to change his identity. People make decisions based off the current identity that is active at the moment, and you can shift the identity in 60 minutes or less. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it with identity shift. So you tell the prospect, after you lead them through the call, you ask them the right question, you tell them, can you share a perspective on that? You always want to ask for permission instead of push your opinion. So you ask for permission, can I share a perspective on that? They'll tell you yes. And then you tell them, listen, from what I see right now, there's 2 versions of you. You have the same problem for 2 years, and you've been making decisions that way that you just told me, that you don't take decision even though it's scary. You stay at your comfort zone, or you always think about it couple months, couple years before you take any step forward, and that led you where you are today right now. That's correct. I'm going to tell you yes. So then you're going to tell them that version that make 5K is where you're right now. There's that version of you that you want to become. Can you really see and imagine that? How you will act? How do you look? Do you see yourself making that money? I'm going to tell you yes. Now they imagine the dream result. And then you told me you can see him. Okay, how would he act? Does he make a decision even though it's scared and he faced the fear and he do it anyway? Or does he don't do anything when it's get too scared? And then they're going to tell you. Probably he's making more uncomfortable decision. You're going to tell him, great, right? You will make more uncomfortable decision. Yes. Another yes. And then you simply going to ask them, okay, what do you think you need to do to get to that position, to be the kind of person? Do you think that you need to make more uncomfortable decision or less comfortable decision? They're going to be, I need to probably make less comfortable decision. I need to do it when it's uncomfortable as well. They're going to tell them, great. So tell me, what will happen if you keep making the same decisions as you made right now? If you're going to keep making the same decision in the comfort zone without taking any risk, always thinking about it and procrastinating, what will happen? And then that's when the magic happens. I'm going to tell you, probably I'm going to stay at the same place. I'm going to tell you, right, because you've done it for 2 years and that's what led you to where you are today. Now, that version of you that making 50K a month, if you could tell you advice right now, what would that be? How to act, what to do to make more uncomfortable decisions. So you're basically selling, the prospect selling himself that he need to change. He imagine the version of him, the higher version of him that is making the result that your program helped him to make. And then he see what he needs to do in order to get there. And you don't tell them anything, you're just asking questions. So he tell you, I need to change. I need to do more uncomfortable decision. Prospect gets very emotional. And then you ask them, okay, so what would you do right here, right now to become that version? They're going to tell you, I guess, make more uncomfortable decision. And then you overcome the limiting belief. If it's fear, if it's stop making decision only when it's comfortable, right? If it's always thinking about things without taking any risk, always looking for the best guarantees, that's what led you to where you are today. And that's how you overcome it. Now, something is very important to understand is that in order to become certain version of yourself, right? The one who is making this amount of money or the one who can get in shape. First, people think that you need to change in your mind, but actually you got to start taking action as that next version of yourself. And that way you become that version. So you first need to lead from action. After you took the right action, then you can actually become that person you actually already become. So first you need to take the uncomfortable decision to become the person you are, that you want to be. And then that person flows. Now, your job as a salesperson, you simply don't tell them to do anything. You are not too pushy. You are not a salesperson. You just keep them accountable, and you do it by actually caring. You don't let the person get off the call and think about it because it's comfortable for them, because that's how they made decision. That's what led them to where they are today, to make decision only when it's comfortable. So your job as the salesperson is to really keep them accountable. And you do it by asking the right question and lead them through the identity shift. So there's 3 steps. You ask the question, right? Afterward, you question their belief, and then you go to an identity change. And that's all it is. Hope you enjoyed, guys. If you have any question, comment below, DM me on Instagram if you want personal help. Like, subscribe, and hopefully that was valuable. See you in the next video.